G'day folks, Tony again here for more Let's Play The Flame in the Flood. So I forgot to actually hit the sleep button before we ended last time, but rest assured we slept for 4 hours, which was the default. And now we should be good to continue on our merry way. If I recall correctly, we have the inventory full boss paying us a visit quite frequently as we're here in this island. So we might just try a little bit of inventory management because I know how much that is everybody's favourite thing. Insulated boots, insulated pants. Am I in fact wearing those already or not? Let's give that a try. Doesn't look like we were. So we're going to equip the insulated boots and the insulated pants. That should give us some extra protection against things. And maybe that also means that we can do something with these old bits and pieces. Make rags. That looks like a reasonable thing to do. We'll do that with that one as well to free up a little bit of space for ourselves. So what I might do is I might move all of these things that are kind of raft related. We're going to put actually in the raft. We might do that as well. All of the wood that's being carried. And there was some crafting that I was going to do when we pick up some more reeds as well. But we might wait a little bit before we get onto that. I think it's well and truly time for us to head a little bit further downriver and see what we can find. Lovely, misty, mysterious kind of evening. Now, I believe this area that we're heading towards here is a section that is going to allow us to upgrade our raft. And we're very much going to do that if we get the opportunity to. What can we do with the gas here? Yes, thank you so much for that. No empty jars, alright. Let's do this and see if there's anything here that we can actually upgrade. We can do some moderate repairs with some old lumber. We have a framework, a schematic, but we don't have any raft hardware. And it's the raft hardware that appears to be the thing that we're most in need of. Let's just have a quick look through these for those of you who aren't familiar with the game. These are a bunch of upgrades that we can make to our raft. So a rudder, it's presumably going to help us steer better. A raft motor, probably related to that gas that we can't pick up yet, so that we could motor around against the current if needed. We've got a sturdy frame, it's going to give our raft some more hit points. We've got a stove so we can do some cooking. We've got a shelter so we can do some sleeping. We've got storage that's going to expand our inventory, and a water purifier so we're always going to have things to drink. So clearly schematics, hardware and framework are all the things that we need. And we've also got the lumber there at our disposal to do some repairs if we need to. We're not going to do that right now, but I am just going to have a quick look here in the crafting to see if we can actually make any of those things, or if those things that we find. Raft hardware, nuts and bolts, and a stone hammer. Sure. Haven't found any nuts and bolts yet, but presumably we can get them somewhere around in one of the areas that we'll visit. And a raft frame, old lumber, and a stone knife. Sure. Let's just make one more of them. And then see what that's done here. Has it stacked them, or do I need to move it manually? Okay, that does stack. And we've now only got 4 old lumber. So that's going to have freed up another inventory space. Clean water. Might have a drink here because our thirst is quite low. That's got that sorted, but we are in rather dire need of food. So my current thinking is, if I recall correctly, building a snare to potentially catch rabbits is relatively straightforward. So I believe for that we're going to need some reeds. We'll keep our eyes peeled for a riverside location. I don't think I'm going to get across there. What I'm hoping to show you here at some point is there are like shopping trolleys kind of sitting off to the sides of oh, look out! Oh, that's bad. Anyway, shopping trolleys sitting off to the sides of some areas on the banks here. And I've been trying to get close to one so that I can show you, but has proven to be a little bit difficult. Avoid all of these old car wrecks. Goodness me, we are moving at a great rate of knots here. Possibly for the best, considering how hungry my character is. Here comes the dawn, and here in fact is one of the shopping trolleys. Grab a little bit of loot there. And we've got some rags, and now we're off and away into the rapids. Steering is substantially different in this mode from the previous one, and it can be quite tricky to maneuver around without hitting anything. You tend to have quite a delay to your ability to steer. Alright, let's try going for this little camp hut area. Let's hope that means something friendly. Camp Quartermass often has flint, always has a lit fire. Ooh, that sounds pretty good to me. Let's see what we can find. Sure. Wonderful. Not quite sure what that does, but we'll figure it out. So we have another task at our disposal that I may have a little bit of a look at a later stage. Right now, I want to try and see if there's any food lying around here nice and easy, because we have a pretty severe food problem. Lots of cattails, which is great, because if I recall correctly, we should be able to use that to make some braided cord. And I can't remember what the remaining material for making a snare was. So let's tediously work our way down this list. Another sapling should do it. Let's give it a go. Is that in fact going to allow us to build? Why can't we build one yet? What unlocks these? Collect all the ingredients to unlock this recipe. Oh, I didn't pick up a sapling, I picked up a cattail. That was a bit daft of me. So we shall keep our eyes firmly peeled for a sapling. Surely there'll be one around here, he says prophetically. Lots of rabbits here. It seems like an awful waste to not be able to catch any of them. Sure. Come on, sapling. No dice. So we could sleep in the back of the bus. We're not going to. And for the want of a sapling, it doesn't appear that we're going to be able to make our snare and catch anything. Feather. Sure. Let's see if we can move anything to Aesop. We can't. But it will be time to eat some things, especially considering how hungry we are. What else do we have? We don't want to eat the devil's trumpet for food poisoning. What else do we have here that we can eat? That looks pretty good. As handy as that would be for fishing, if we don't make it there, it's not really much use, is it? Empty. Well, that's a drag. I do need some sleep, though, and this does seem like a reasonable place to do so. How long should we push it? I do sort of want a full recharge, even though we're going to end up very hungry. Now, I believe the game only saves when we sleep. Yes, there I can see that it's saved. Now let's hope that there aren't any nasty things roaming around in the dark. Work our way back to the boat. And I would assume that a forested area would have quite a high chance of having saplings, so maybe, yes, there's one just down the river here. Let's give that a go and see what happens. Very hungry again. The perils of living in a post-societal environment. Asher Hollow, light on supplies. That's fine. Sapling would be nice. Wolves and bears would not. Let's fill our jar up with water. Good. Sapling? Aha! Tremendous. There we go. We can make ourselves an insulated jacket as well, so why not? Go in and equip that. Good, good. There we have it. Those rabbit holes? Does that mean there are rabbits around? Possibly not in the evening. That's handy. I think I just used my last stitching kit, so good to have it replenished. And some mulberries, that'll be good for the tummy. Hopefully won't give us the runs, though I believe if you eat too many mulberries you can not have a fun time in the tummy region. A little bit of fun fact oversharing there for all of you. Lots of mulberries around here. What else have we got? Dandelions. So it does look like our assumption was fairly accurate that these forested areas having a lot of shrubs and so forth. But once again, we have this issue with inventory space. So I guess with these areas being small and us being near the start of the game, running back to the raft to dump stuff into it isn't entirely terrible. But kind of also a pain in the bum. What should we move? Honestly, at this point, just going to kind of move most things. Just so that we have the option of picking anything up. Might be good to eat too many and you'll get the scoots. It says it right there. So maybe not all of them. Just to try and take the edge off of our feeling peckish. I'm going to go and pick up those saplings again. We're not tired, we're not cold, we're just hungry and thirsty. Food probably our utmost priority at this point. How does one run? So that's shoeing. Okay, that's the quick menu. Clicking the sticks. No, that doesn't do anything. All right. Thanks for bearing with me through that, dear viewer, as I pressed random buttons on the controller to see what would happen. So as with most games, that have a heavy reliance on crafting and resources and so forth, I'm finding myself very much wanting to do many things all at the same time. And when that's combined with sort of an unfamiliarity with the game because I haven't played it for a while. Uh-oh. A brief respite for me to explain myself. Unfamiliarity with the game because I haven't played it for a while, and also trying to think and talk out loud. I'm sure I'm making a bunch of mistakes here, so if you find yourself yelling at the screen and going, "Tony, you idiot, what are you doing?" Please feel free to politely point that out in the comments below. Would always be handy to get some tips or advice or people's perspectives on what's happening. Now, we've just had this big pop-up interrupt us to tell us that rain is coming. There's a lovely Robert Frost quote there that I'll let you read for yourselves, but in game speak, as rain gets closer, seek shelter and wait for it to pass. If you get wet, use a shelter or kindle a fire to dry off. Wait for rain to pass. Before using a campfire, rain will extinguish flames. So being outside in the wet, probably not the best of things. Deary me. But considering we're in the middle of some rapids, I don't really think we have a lot of options here. So I guess we're just going to keep our eyes peeled out for... oh, this is not going well. For a potential place to hole up and get some rest. I'm going to try and head over here to this fishing dock. What have we got? Many things. Dandelions and saplings. Some more aloe. What have we got to loot? Not a fishhook. And some old lumber. Tremendous. So we're going to drink our water. So we kind of need to. So anywhere we can fill our jar. Maybe not right here. We need to solve this food problem as well. So let's find some more of those mulberries. Just going to have to eat all of them right now. And let's eat those and see if they do anything as well. 14 to 20. I mean, it's better than nothing. We're in a world of hurt here with this food problem. And our raft is getting kind of rickety. You can see the lovely barrels sort of scooting around there. Oh dear. I would really like to avoid having to go through those rapids again. Now we're not going to stop at those docks because I don't have enough things to do any meaningful repairs with. So let's just keep on cruising here and see what's coming a bit further down the line. Whew, that was close. So I'm trying to use my paddle hard options sparingly. Really only when I feel like I'm not going to be able to avoid bumping into something. Oh dear, or in that case, I misuse it. And I just repeatedly bump into things. So the game has just informed us that we are now in region 3 of 10. Getting to 10 being the end of the game if you make it there successfully. So we still have a long way to go. And I'm not in a terribly great way. You can see down the bottom there, my character looking a bit bruised and beat up. My raft appears to be at approximately maybe a third in terms of health. And I am going to starve to death very soon if we don't find ourselves some food. Brisbane Fargalow. That's handy. Brisbane being the city in which I live. Okay. You cannot survive for long in an encounter with a wolf. You need traps to kill it. Press X to frighten the wolf and buy a little time to flee. The wolf is the archetype of raven, the beast of wasted desolation. Very well. I guess that's warning us that there are going to be wolves around. Let's see if that's the case. There's a boar in there. That's not a wolf. But if we poke our way around here slowly, piece by piece, that is not going to solve our food problem. So, alright, a couple of nuts and bolts. I guess that's, I'm going to call that a win. And we're going to keep going. Food, I really need food. So if you please, it would be lovely. That's not great. That is very not great. I don't think the raft has a lot left in it, folks. Ill-equipped. Does that mean it's getting colder? Indeed it does. I see the thermometer in the top. Oops. In the top right-hand corner is not looking well. In fact, in general, I don't think anything is looking well. And that's all she wrote. So, on our first attempt, everybody, we have starved to death. Or rather, I have starved to death and you have watched me starve to death. So, having a think on what went well and what went poorly, I suspect that I was wasting a fair bit of time grabbing the wrong sorts of things. And I also think that I was probably putting a little bit of needless pressure on myself with stressing about stopping it at every possible stop that came along. So I think next time around, I'm going to try and pay a little more attention to food. But of course, the danger in these sorts of games is that one thing kills you and then you overcorrect and you focus too much on that other thing and then it doesn't go terribly well. So I guess next time around, probably try and make one of those snares earlier. They're fairly straightforward to build. Try and catch some rabbits, and I think those rabbits will help keep our tummies full. Anyway, to be able to watch me on my next attempt at playing this game, you're going to have to tune back in for the next episode because that's all we have time for right now. So thank you all very much for watching. If you would like to get in touch with me on Twitter, my Twitter handle is @Kalinskald. That's KALINSKALD. And please like, share, and best of all, subscribe to the channel below. Thanks very much for tuning in, dear viewers, and come back again soon for more Let's Play The Flame in the Flood.